Kapla!
Noch nah.
Nutmeg indeed. We are here for a very, very, very special edition of Star Trek Adventures. It is just myself, Stu, and...
It's me. It's Ed. Yes, this time with more coloured patterns on me. Yes, I've been run over by yet another strangely tired truck, as is traditional every week. But this time it's a Klingon one. As we said last week, it's 6 months since we've started our voyage into adventures. So I kind of thought it was about time that our brave GM Stu had a bit of a go at sitting in the player's seat for a change. And so I came up with this as a bit of a plan, and Stu agreed to have a go.
Yes, because under my name, it's got a normal name. Well, not a normal name, a Klingon name. And under your name, it's got Game Master. So a bit of a role reversal.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we are going back to our normal game next week, just to just to reassure people. We're not going to leave people hanging in the lurch with what's going on there.
I'm not sitting in this chair doing all the hard work and making all the big decisions. Not when I've got a Stu to do that for me.
And hello, Chris. Or actually, in the Klingon, Alakar.
Yeah, that's a good name. House Alakar.
Who says, permission to die with honour, Captain. Well, today is a good day to die. I've been reliably informed. Your presence, Chris, honours us. There you go.
I think it's probably worth mentioning this. What we're going to play this evening is actually a little short story I wrote myself, and purposefully this was written to introduce people to the Star Trek Adventures game who had never played before. I'd actually wrote it for my good friend in America, Daniel, who hopefully will either watch or be watching later, who was going to be GM a game of this himself, and he later very kindly invited me to play along with that. He did it actually as a Romulan game, so it was a Romulan ship and Romulan crew in the end. I was very pleased to play the Riemann pilot of that particular warbird for an evening. But this was a good way, because he wasn't overly au fait with the system. I thought this was a nice little way of showing via a few scenes how all the mechanics work, and also this is a good little story that can introduce any solo character into another campaign if you were planning to join an already established campaign, perhaps. So I will be, as I said to you, I will be typing this up at some point, because it's just scribbled notes by me. I will be typing it up and probably put it in the Discord so people can look and see how it works, and maybe hopefully use and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, and maybe those good folk at Modifius would like it as well. So some more hellos in chat. Ben, great to see you here. Ben was wondering why it was quiet in chat, then realised it was on YouTube. Yes, you find us in all the most disreputable places these days. And hello, Captain Quinn. Good evening, and Kapla. And Swain01, thanks for joining us. Swain01. Oh, this is Scott. Hello, Scott. Yeah, Scott says, Ed's in charge. Don't worry, Gromit. Everything's under control. Will there be cheese?
There's always cheese.
Yay.
Cheese is proof that Kronos loves us and wants us to be happy.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, I've got my dice ready. I've got my character sheet ready. I've got some momentum tokens. Will I need those?
Yes. Well, this game, as a simple one, starts with I've set the momentum at 2 for the introductory player, and myself a humble 4 threat to begin with.
Ooh, ouch.
And you'll probably find out why.
That's not fun being on the other side of threat suddenly.
Yes, welcome to our world.
Right.
you have your character. How do you prefer to pronounce that?
Hakak.
Hakak.
Hakak, son of Groloth.
Excellent. A warrior's name.
House of Grilka.
Ah, an honourable house. Excellent. Well, in that case, now this previously had this had a name based on the first person to the first warrior to go through this story, Clog. So it's clearly Hakak's saga this time, rather than Clog's saga as it was before. Honourable Clog, I'm looking forward to seeing him again, actually. But we begin, shall we, with the first scene. I will, of course, be asking you to throw some stuff at me as well here and there, Stu, but you know you've done this much more than I have, so you'll be helping me. So, the scene is set. The shuttle pod, Eos Cha, is en route to deliver replacement crew to the IKS. What would you like the ship that you're heading towards to be called, Stu?
Oh, IKS Battleth.
A Battleth. Oh, classic. Good name for a ship.
Why not?
So you're on board. You're sat in the. It's the 3-man shuttle pod. I do have a picture of it. I'm not sure if I'm able to show it, but it's the Tauron class shuttlecraft, the sort of triangular one. There's 3 seats on board. You're sat in the operations seat, and just ahead of you, to the side, you can see a young Bech, who is also being sent with you to your new assignment in the Klingon Defense Force. So I think this is a good point for you to introduce yourself as the Bech turns around and says, House Grilka, an honorable house. I am Kauf. Who are you?
Kauf, Bech Kauf. I am Hakak, son of Groloth. And yes, the honour is all yours.
That remains to be seen. But I look forward to shedding blood for the Empire and earning more glory for my house.
For the Empire!
For the Empire! And he sets back towards monitoring his set station, as ever he does. Out of character somewhat, so would you like to describe the character that you have for those who maybe are a little unfamiliar with the way that characters are created in Star Trek Adventures?
Here's where I'm afraid I ran out of time a little bit today because of doing a record of another podcast, and I used pre-gen. So I'm not overly familiar with the character creation process.
Oh, that's okay. Talk us through the character. What seems to be what's their rank and specializations?
I see. So Hakak is a sergeant. He was raised on a Klingon enclave, overseeing a conquered world. His upbringing his upbringing instilled in him an unshakable belief that Klingons must conquer additional systems to ensure the health of the Empire. Well, quite right too. If you're not growing, you're falling backwards. And Hakak has proven himself a fierce warrior in some of the bloodiest planetary battles. I was going to say of the Dominion War, but what era are we in?
Oh, we can quite happily say that this is slap bang in the middle of the Dominion War.
Oh, right, yes. He's been proving himself a fierce warrior during that, making him the muscle of the Tilanis 7 operation. He balances his bloodlust with a passion for Klingon opera and poetry. The arm of a warrior, the heart of a poet.
Excellent. I like the sound of him already. I like the cut of his batleth. Splendid. So you'd say he's more a sort of fighter character in the classic tropes of adventuring parties.
Oh, very much so. I thought that would be appropriate for an introduction on a Klingon.
Yes, that sounds.
Yeah.
That sounds.
Go with the stereotype.
Yes, so I believe he's equipped with all the normal things that you would expect a Klingon to be carrying. I think I've just got a copy of his sheet here. Yes, he seems to have a Daktarg dagger, a batleth, and a pistol.
That's correct. Yes.
Splendid. All useful and nasty stuff. I'm sure that'll come in handy. Probably in the next couple of pages.
Do you want his values or his focuses, anything like that? His talents?
I think values are useful for spending determination in the system, as we know. But I think what's more useful for an introduction to it, what you're going to use more often, are focuses, because obviously they basically act as an exploding dice mechanic. So they make your dice rolls, certain rolls, more effective. So yeah, what are his focuses? I take it he is a he. He identifies as a he.
He is a he. Yeah. His focuses are blades, deception, but only against his enemies, of course.
Of course, as any honourable warrior would.
Hand-to-hand combat. He has a special focus in Jem'Hadar ground tactics, having fought them so often. Klingon opera and survival.
Good all rounds there. And
do not ask me to actually sing Klingon opera, and nobody will like that. People will tune off the stream so quick.
If anyone in chat could actually put the lyrics up phonetically so we could sing along, that would be better. Sort of like a bad Klingon karaoke. Right, and what do his values have? What instills, what builds his soul and drives him onwards?
His first and probably primary value is the Empire must expand or it will die.
Oh, that's a strong one.
Never pass up a chance to prove your mettle.
Good.
Quite
for
right too.
Is he a young warrior or an old one as a sergeant?
He's not young. He's not quite middle aged. That would be quite old for a sergeant. He's
seasoned.
Yeah, I would say like human equivalent is probably about 30. So he's experienced, certainly experienced. Has probably found his niche in life. His next value, the strength of a warrior, the soul of a poet.
Oh, yes, that's all that came along.
And those who are without honour deserve no mercy.
Oh, excellent.
Brutal.
Yeah, let's see who he comes up against. I think it'll be looting corpses and taking trophies.
So.
Splendid. So I think we've got a little bit more of a background in what he is. We'll leave off. We won't simply go through his actual stats as a numbers game. We'll get into those as and when we need to. Otherwise, it just becomes a little bit. That's interesting for the player in question, not necessarily for those who are not vital for those who are watching. So you are cruising along in deep space as you do. I imagine some of these shuttles at least have basic facilities on board, so they're a good ranged shuttle. It isn't simply a surface to orbit type of vessel. As you are heading off towards the Batleth, wherever that is, cruising in deep space, awaiting its new crew. Actually, what assignment are you taking up on board the Batleth? I take it you have orders from the High Council.
Well, as GM, you would tell me, wouldn't you?
I just wondered if you had a specific role in mind for him, or just one of the many warriors on board.
I don't, but as a warrior, he's a warrior's warrior. I think probably tactical would be his desirous position. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I think most Klingon warriors are almost trained in to be quite the all-rounders on the bridge. I mean, you would have tactical specialists and helm specialists, but yeah, every Klingon is a warrior first.
Yeah, but probably the science station is not going to be his thing.
Ah, right. Quite a low science score then.
Oh, I never checked actually. Yeah, science is not really his thing. He'd definitely do well in tactical. He'd do okay in con as well.
Oh, okay, not a bad.
But tactical first and foremost.
Excellent. Well, as you're cruising along through deep space, the console lights up. Yes, it's one of those old favourites. It's an incoming subspace broadband communication. Beeping away, so the computer is showing that there is an incoming communication. The Beck turns to you and says, incoming communication. Doesn't look like us.
On screen.
He taps up. It isn't a communication, sir. Sergeant. Forgetting that you work for a living. And not a communication, sir. It's like a stream of information. I can't bring it up as a visual.
Isolate it in a separate file, separate from the main computer.
Very good. The Beck swiftly taps away at his control and brings it, sort of basically, streams it onto his screen. Says, yes, it's some form of a directional beacon. It seems to be coming from somewhere ahead of us, sir, but I can't quite locate.
Is it? You say it's not Klingon?
Definitely not Klingon in origin. There is no coding on it. There would be coding.
Is it Federation? Dominion?
In order to do that, you will need to make a test. So this is where you can introduce your new player to how to test for things. So what you're going to actually do is I'm going to get you to roll. Now, for this, we're going to go for. Now we could go reason and science, assisted by the ship's sensors and science. So what's your reason and science together?
My reason and science is 9.
9. Okay. Well, you're going to be rolling 2 dice, of course, for this, and the ship's sensors. I'll just double check our shuttle. Are going to be adding on. They're going to be an 11 actually to assist with that. So you can of course buy. So you've got 2 momentum. So you could always spend a dice there, spend a momentum to buy an extra dice there, or you could give me a threat to buy another dice as well. So you've got 3 dice for starters, and you can only add 2 more to that. You can never roll more than 5, of course. So 2 for yourself, 1 for the ship. Would you like to add any more into that?
What difficulty is it?
This is only difficulty 1.
Oh, I think I'm happy with the 3.
See if you can build a bit more
choices
onto that.
I would like to ask though, would my focus in deception come into play here?
Ooh, that's a good thinking. Well, as you're essentially just looking at an incoming message rather than trying to send one out, I'm going to say no on this occasion.
Okay. Right, I'll roll me 3 dice. I'm using a different type of dice for the ship, so I know which one is the ship.
Good thinking. Yes. Different colours, different sizes, etc.
The ship rolled a 10.
Good.
Hakak rolled a 2.
Wow.
And a 20.
Ooh. Right, in that case, so the 2 is a success, the 10 is a success, so 2 successes, you have succeeded, and you've gained yourself a momentum, and I think, for the moment, I'm just going to add to the threat for that 20. Yeah. Of course, those viewers listening will know that a 20 is a critical fail, rather than traditional D20 games, where 20 is the critical success. This one's the other way around. So if Stu rolls a 1, that's going to be counted as 2 successes. If it rolls a 20, that's going to be a complication where I can make something unfortunate happen, or make something more difficult, or his, the dice could snap on the elastic could snap on the furry dice in the cockpit. But in this case, I'm just going to take a threat just to bank that for later.
That's why tricorders keep blowing up in Bosch's face.
Exactly, yes. Exploding tricorders are a very good one, actually, though not for the poor person in engineering who has to keep replicating more of them.
Poor Sonia.
Very good. Yeah. So having sorted that, you see that it is a directional distress beacon. It isn't Federation. It's not Klingon, and it is your focus in Jem'Hadar tactics tell you that it is a Dominion style signal. Furthermore, it is. As you had 2 successes, it is actually showing you the directions it's coming from predictably a planet in a nearby system you're about to pass by.
Right. So a directional beacon, is it leading towards the planet or away from it?
It's basically the beacon is streaming out. You're picking it up, but you can see that it's a beacon to direct to the planet itself. So it's coming from the planet to direct stuff in. I'm thinking like in a modern analogy would be like an instrument landing system. So it's showing where something is.
Excellent. There are weapons on this shuttlecraft.
Let's say you could probably take out an injured pigeon if it was asthmatic, but I wouldn't be taking on a Dominion battleship with it. You're not the Valiant.
What about a directional beacon, though?
A directional beacon is literally that. It's coming from something. It's being transmitted from something.
It's not a... Sorry, when we're thinking beacon, I'm thinking like a buoy.
Oh, no, it's like a beacon signal.
I'm receiving the signal coming from the planetary system. Got it. In order to entice... Ooh, does the shuttle have cloaking capabilities?
At this point, I would say in this point in Klingon lore and history, yes, you have a rudimentary cloaking device on this.
Okay, I will instruct the back to engage cloak.
Ah, he says, and taps the fingers. Let's do the wiggly thing. And the shuttle phases, not quite phases out, but vanishes into the starfield as you continue.
Okay, phasers? What do you think this is, the Phoenix? Yeah, okay. Okay, head towards the source of the beacon. How far away is it, roughly?
The Beck looks and says that he thinks it's roughly 1.5 light years away. Not very far in galactic terms, but yes, he says, "You wish me to set course?"
Yes, 1.5 light years. We could get there under impulse, couldn't we?
Oh, yeah, within like within a day's drive. Impulse is remarkably quick. It's sort of like getting a system.
Yeah, I will order him to set course and engage.
Excellent. To do that, he would have to make he's going to set course, so reason and con. So I'm going to, now, would you like him to attempt that, or are you going to barge him out of the way and say, I'll do it myself?
How skilled is he at con?
Let's have a look at Klingon Beck. He's got reason of 8 and a con of 2, so 10. He can. He's flying you, because I think he's the junior on board, so he's sat in the driving seat.
I will drag him out of the seat and plonk myself down. I'm only slightly better. I'm not much better. My reason is terrible.
Well, what is your reason score?
7.
7.
Can I fly at max impulse so that I convert it to daring instead of reason?
Well, because you're setting course rather than actual flying, so it's more a case of like figuring it out and plotting your course to intercept that. As obviously you're sort of taking it off the course heading already that you've got planned for the Batleth, and diverting. So yeah, a reason and con, and computers and con will be assisting you from the ship, which is con is going to be a 11 for the ship again there.
An 11, so I have a con of 4, so it's 11 on both counts.
Excellent, yeah, and it's a difficulty 1. It's not too tricky setting course, but you do need to be able to do it.
Well, I have a 19, a 16, and a Starfleet symbol, aka a 1.
Excellent. Kapla there.
That was the shuttlecraft.
Oh, well done. You're mashing the keyboard, but it knows where it's going anyway. So
I get another momentum, don't I?
You do indeed. So you've succeeded, and you get a momentum. I reckon you've got 4.
I do indeed have 4. Now, at this point, can I spend a momentum to get more information about this beacon?
Yes, you certainly can. Now, obviously,
I'd like to do that.
You would have done that obviously at the point at which you were finding it with the sensors, or tweaking it with the sensors. But yes, we'll do that. We'll do that now. Yes, you once you've set course and you've changed your course, shall I say, to intercept, the Beck settles in. The back into can I drive again? Settles back in, giving you time to have a look a bit more carefully at the sensor log that you just got. It is coming from a vessel, definitely, but from a stationary location. So you can see it's coming from the 5th planet in this system, but more than that, you can't tell. This particular system isn't actually on any of the Klingon data records that you've just briefly checked to see if you can get any more details there. But yes, you are. It is definitely coming from it's a vessel-based system rather than a device or a structure. You can certainly tell that from it. Just in the way that the specific patterns you've seen this before coming from Dominion ships.
I'm guessing we're not in Dominion space. I would know if we were.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. You're heading through Klingon space. So this is not what you should be seeing here. This system should not be here.
It's an incursion.
Cannot be allowed to stand.
They will die for this.
Yeah, the Beck turns around and said, I can smell the enemy already.
No, that might be my new aftershave.
Oh, hint of targ just behind the ears.
Yeah. Smells like honor.
That's definitely a thing. Smells like honor. And as we end the first scene, the shuttlecraft accelerates away towards, and that's the first scene. So we've simply seen deliberately how we can interact and how we can make tests using our various combinations of skills, and also assisted by, in this case, the ship. This is Star Trek. It's all about the ships, as Roddenberry said. They're the real heroes. Those who are more familiar with Klingon numerals will be able to tell me what Eos Cha is, as in it's the shuttlecraft's name. I think I did it as a deliberate joke, but I can't quite remember exactly what the joke was this time. I have a funny feeling it might be 42, but...
Oh, awesome.
I'll double check that. It might be a completely different number and it's a different joke, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was Shuttlecraft 42. That, of course, being the answer to everything.
Brilliant. Well done. My goodness.
So,
exciting.
Okay.
Flying towards the Dominion with no weapons to speak of. In a shuttle.
In a shuttle with one other guy. 2 of you together.
Oh well. I've got Stover Core behind me ready. So
good. I've just got I've just got the basically the back end of the cargo hold, which is where I'll end up having to clean if this goes badly wrong. I'll be promoted to ship's janitor.
As we're playing a Klingon adventure, if it goes badly wrong, as the GM, does that mean I get to kill you and take over?
Yes. If you don't, at any point you don't like the game and you think you can do it better, he can. Then you just have to kill me and take over the game.
And if I can find a way of doing that through Zoom.
If I see like the hook reaching on from the side.
Yeah. Oh dear. What
Very good. Well,
how's
the other chat stuff? Are the chats still here?
Hesitation off. Yeah, the chat's been going absolutely mental. I've not. Apologies to everyone. I've not been. I've been paying a lot of attention to the actual game. Yeah. Yes, I am a paranoid player, Ben. Absolutely. I've having GM'd, I know how devious they can be. And hello to Kanan UK21. We normally have more crew members. In fact, I'm normally the GM. It's Ed and his crew. Normally, this is a very, very special one-off, just to show that A, we can do Klingons, B, that we can do it on a one-to-one basis as well, that Star Trek Adventures isn't just for large groups. It can be done on a one-to-one basis. So hello. And no, Ben, that scene was not a good place to die. Yeah.
I'm not a very experienced GM, can you tell? But I've always gone with the idea that the GM is not here to murder everyone within the first 5 minutes, but is here to help everybody. I'm more of a tray guard than anything else.
I love the person I got it from is Dan Thompson, and he can't remember where he got it from. That's our friend who runs the Danger Club podcast. His quote that I absolutely adore is, the GM is the guy who jokes about killing his friends while secretly hoping for their happy ending.
Yes. Perfectly put.
Yeah. As long as it's secret.
Yes. Don't be overly pleased when they do very well.
Yeah.
Don't gloat too much if they do fall down your hole. Incidentally, I was at the UK Games Expo last week. Ian Livingston did put that yes, he does enjoy writing the bottomless pits into things, and he said you may even almost feel that he was cackling when he typed it because he was.
Oh, speaking of bottomless, I'm GMing a game for my sister and brother-in-law and nephew, and I put in a brief, there's a 50-foot pit and you can hear some nasty snarling monster at the bottom of it, thinking, well, they'll just walk around that, or maybe they might throw a goblin down it for fun, sort of thing. No, my brother-in-law, who is an intelligent, rational guy, said, yeah, my character's going to jump in.
Oh, all right.
And is now facing a nasty beastie on his own.
So Wile E. Coyote dropped to the bottom.
So the GM may not really want to kill people, but sometimes players do stuff.
No game survives contact with its players.
Yeah, like flying headlong into a Dominion territory without a ship.
Well, in the game we've been playing so far, we've seen an awful lot of Romulans, but we've not seen any Dominions, so I thought it'd be interesting to throw in something that was a little bit different for everybody.
Oh, definitely. As long as it's not the Borg, I don't feel ready for the Borg.
Yeah, no.
Fantastic. So shall we...
Let's continue with scene 2. So as a mechanic, we actually change scenes. So actually drop a momentum. So you're actually going to go down to 3 momentum for yourself.
Do I have to lose any of my momentum?
Yeah, if you go lose 1 down to 3. So as you change scene...
Down to 2, because I did spend 1.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Yeah, fairly played. Yes, okay. Very good. And the scene shifts, as it often does, after the commercial break, especially if you're watching in America, where there'll be one every 15 minutes, to the shuttle coming out of warp and approaching the orbit of the 5th planet. I think we said 5th. Checks notes. Yes, it is now. The 5th planet of the system. And the Beck turns and says, "I'm entering standard orbit," and sets course accordingly. Now, what do I put here? Yes, sorry, still trying to check through my notes. Yes, and he enters standard orbit, and you cruise into a high geosynchronous orbit around the planet, which you can see from through the view screen as it looms large, is green and verdant. This doesn't look too unappetizing.
Looks like a federation.
That's what I think our Federation allies would enjoy. A holiday planet to grow fat and soft on.
Exactly. I'll get the Beck to scan for vessels.
Excellent. Very well. In that case, would you like to roll for the Beck then? Actually, can I give you his stat? Then if it goes badly wrong, it's all your fault.
And the ship as well?
Yes, we will. For that, let's use the Beck's Reason and Science, which together... Oh dear, it's not very scientific. His Reason and Science is 8 combined.
Oh my God. I'm going to, again, yank him out of the chair and do it myself.
I will do it. I'll go and put the Ractogeno on.
I mean, literally, mine's 9, but, you know, my Reason and Science.
Anything's better. And Sensors and Science, again, for 11 for the ship. So this is going to be, this is only a difficulty 1, but as you know, when you do scans, if you can use a momentum or any additional momentum you've gained to immediately spend and gain a little bit of extra information.
I'm going to take the chance on this. I'm going to take the chance. Oh, and I'm glad I did. So the ship provided no help whatsoever with a 14. However, I got a 4 and a 3.
Excellent. 2 successes. Much kapla there. So that takes you up to 1 success and 1 extra momentum, taking you to 3 momentum. And so with the sense that you have scanned the area, there are no ships in the vicinity that you can see. You are, of course, still under cloak, which, of course, actually doesn't affect your ability to scan around. You can, you know, not only can you passively scan for what ships are radiating themselves, but you're also letting your sensors search. Yes, there are no. You can tell there are no other ships in this system. However, you are detecting that the origin of the broadband subspace communication is on the planet below. You have come to the correct place, and there is a ship-like object down there from where the signal seems to be emanating from.
Is it shielded at all?
There are, from what you can tell, there are no shields there. It's basically there is like you can tell there is a ship. The only ship you can find is actually on the planet's surface, and that's it's triangulated to where the signal is coming from.
It's a landed ship, but
it is on the surface.
Okay, it may have been a sudden landing, but I'm not going to say
that Councillor Troy was driving. That would not be fair.
Can I? Now, I want to ask lots of questions like, does it look intact? Is it damaged? Presumably I have to spend a momentum for extra information, do I?
Now, yes, exactly. You can spend momentum to find out a lot more.
I will spend a momentum for that.
Indeed. So the momentum spend does indicate that there is, it gives you a better idea of the size. There is a vessel on the surface. Your sensors indicate it is a large shuttle-sized, and it is in what appears to be close terrain. It is very much on the ground, on the surface, but you couldn't tell whether or not it intended to be on the surface or whether the planet got in the way.
Okay. Is there a landing site anywhere near that I could use?
You can see that there is the terrain does give suitable areas that you could land a Tauron-class shuttle in fairly easily, and obviously with your cloak intact at the moment, as we know from parks in San Francisco, the only thing that would give it away is a suddenly squashed trash can.
Yeah. Okay. Again, keeping the back out of the pilot's chair because I know I'm better at con than him.
He normally takes a seat at operations and starts reading signs from the Klingon Defense Force that he's not caught up.
Yeah, I'll pilot it down to land.
Excellent. So you can indeed head down and land nearby. Now, this is difficulty 2, not specifically for any sort of problem other than that you've got a specific landing site to target, and obviously you're dealing with atmospheric entry, and basically you're trying not to smack it into a planet too hard, and also you're going if you're keeping your cloak on as well, you're going to be making your approach so you don't obviously ripple the trees so that everyone could obviously see that there was something there. So that's why it's the difficulty 2. But for that, I'll be needing it is control and con, assisted by the ship's engineering and con. So your own control and con?
Yeah, is there any way I can maybe kind of showing off to the back a bit, do some stylish moves, think Red Squadron way, so that I can use daring instead?
Yes, I'll allow you to use daring as well, because I mean, whilst the shuttles are designed to go from planet to ship, if you're specifically trying to put it down somewhere where normally if you'd go from ship to a planet, you'd basically tap in the autopilot and say from Kronos starport to orbiting ship this one, and then press the button and off it would fly. So yeah, if you're definitely hand flying it down to find the clearing and plonk it down, definitely seat of the pants daring is good to go.
Okay, and because I've got the cloak active, and obviously I'm trying to avoid being seen, can I use deception, my focus in deception?
That would be a perfect time to allow you to focus in deception. So with that means that your con skill being, did you say 4?
4. My daring is 11, so that would be 15 to beat.
Excellent. Now, any dice that hits a 4 or less, because that's the like the department that you're, the attribute, was it the skill attribute? The number of the con skill that you're using. If it's equal to or less than that, as you're activating or you're drawing a focus for it, those will count as 2 successes. So yeah, 4, 3, 2, or a 1 will count as 2 successes in this case.
So do you want just my roll, or do you want me to roll for the ship as well?
Oh, roll for the shuttle as well. That'll be its engineering con save is 12. It's a little bit better at that.
Okay. So let's say, I got 4 for the shuttle. Oh, I got a 12 on one of mine. So that's my 2 successes. The other one was a 19.
tickling the dragon's tail here.
Dangerously close to a complication there.
Very good.
But a success.
Yes, 2 successes means that you skillfully, you literally barrel roll it, pull it down, and you plunge through the atmosphere, pulling some particular maneuvers so that your re-entry trail is almost dissipated by the cloak itself. I mean, unless you were standing on the ground and staring at that spot, you wouldn't notice. And you swoop majestically down towards the clearing and land successfully on the planet amid a ripple of grasses and a slight indentation as the 3 pads go into the ground.
I will turn to the back and say, "A warrior does not vomit."
the back hanging onto the controls, looking particularly queer. I will travel by teleporter beam next time. You couldn't have done that by transporter? Excellent. So we are down on the surface. That, in my breakdown of the game, would be a very quick and simple scene that just shows how you pilot starships and how you do something a little more complicated with some options. I mean, obviously, stepping back as a GM here, if you'd have chosen to do to beam down, there will be other options there. There might have been different complications there, but that's another option that players can explore. And again, this particular scenario and story breakdown could be easily reskinned to a Federation game, a Romulan game. It's basically just a toolbox with different colors and themes laid over the top to give people a bit of a quick go at a bit of everything and still bring a bit of narrative around it as well. So
fantastic.
We are on the surface, and I believe that will reduce your momentum in the next scene down by a further 1. So if you remove 1 of your momentum and tell me what you've got left.
1.
Oh, well, 1 momentum it is. Splendid. And you have landed on the planet. And the Beck has pulled himself together somewhat and stands up and reaches for the door immediately to open up and says, Dominion, I smell them already.
Fantastic. Is that a good time for us to have a quick word from our sponsors?
I think it would be the perfect time to see what happens next.
Excellent. Well, we'll be back in 6 minutes. Everyone watching, don't go anywhere. Stay where you are. It is the honourable thing to do. See you in a moment. And we are back with honour. Yes, and I've made a slight improvement to my costume. And I'm wearing it the correct way this time. We're now matching.
I couldn't decide which one. I think this is the direction. Well, in norm, I don't know. They seem to have it knotted over the right hip, left hip, but I have a funny feeling that there would be some sort of regulation as to whether or not you're on duty or not would depend on whether it's the left hip or the right hip or whether it's around the waist or something like that. There'd be something martial about it. Wear it with a martial air.
Yes, that's it. So hello and thanks for sticking with us. Let's see what's been said in the. We've been talking about COVID guidelines in the US. Mass gatherings shut down within 4 weeks. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but prune juice, in fact, a warrior's drink. It's not. It's Robinson's blackcurrant.
I'm from Manchester, so mine's Vimto.
Vimto, Bayek. Fantastic. That's what we need is some northern Klingons.
Yeah, Sean Bean is a Klingon.
Glory to you and your house.
And your house.
You bastard. Yeah. Not you, Ed. I'm not calling you a bastard.
You try.
Hi, Paul. Yes, it's just two of us tonight because we're doing a special episode where we're looking at the Klingon rules, and also Ed has written an adventure that can be played with just like one-on-one. So we're going through it. Geordie Klingon, aye.
Geordie Klingon, aye. Barrels of broon.
Aye. Luke Achichamtala.
Can you imagine combat stotty cakes? That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. My first ever RPG character that I played when I started playing was an orc, a half orc, but he sort of embraced his orcishness, and I did him with the Geordie accent, and it really suited. Actually, I felt. Yeah.
I mean, I can't often imagine elves with a Geordie accent. I don't think that sort of works. Does it?
No. They'd be more Mackhams. I set course for Kronos, like. Right, cool. So, should we get back to it?
Let's continue. Well, when we last left our brave adventurers, who I believe was Hakak himself, and was it Kauf, his Beck, who's been travelling, his Beck travelling companion.
Kauf.
I think it was. It's Kauf because it sounds a bit like cough, and I wrote this sort of in the depths of pandemic.
I was thinking like Andy Kaufman.
Might be a Jewish Klingon. That could be happening. Could you imagine the singing? Well, actually, there was that episode of Frasier when he.
Yes. The bar mitzvah.
Yes, all in Klingon. Much cooler, if you ask me. I'm with his friends with that one. I thought that was great.
That was a brilliant one.
So they have arrived on the surface of the planet. The fifth planet, we determined, of a so far uncharted system in Klingon space, however. And they've been following a mysterious subspace beacon, which has been emanating from what appears to be a Dominion-based signal from a ship on the surface of this. How is Hakak feeling about this as he's about to step out onto this apparently verdant, untouched world? I mean, it's pleasant from what we've seen. More sort of Federation holiday camp than something suitable for warriors to settle.
Hakak does not give a shit about the planet. He is more bothered. I mean, this is Klingon territory.
Yes.
And the Dominion scum have made their way in. He's angry.
How dares they? How
very dare they? Yeah.
Good. I was hoping to get him angry.
Don't make him angry. You won't like him when he's angry.
Won't like him when he's angry. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be that one. Excellent. Yes. So the Beck leaps to the door and activates the controllers. It opens. The warm air of the planet wafts in. I can smell the Jem'Hadar filth from here, he says. Takes out his
take a quick sniff. Can I?
I don't know. I would imagine.
Is there a role for that?
I imagine all you can smell from here is quite literally just grass and plant life and warm, humid air. So
the Beck is one for hyperbole.
Yes. Well, I mean, when you're a young warrior, one has a name to make. But a name is nothing without deeds to back it up.
Exactly. Just going to keep a careful eye on him because he's...
Might need to drag him back by the collar at this rate.
He's not making any friends.
Yes, he steps out and sniffs the air, scanning the nearby. You've landed in what appears to be a clearing in the. I wouldn't say necessarily jungle. This is not like steaming mangrove swamps. This is just warm, not subtropical, but warm. By human standards, pleasant. Klingons have no need for living in pleasant surroundings or temperate climes.
They say it makes you soft. I'll call out to the Beck, not loudly, but for him to hear at least, to stand down and follow my lead. We need to approach our enemy with stealth and caution until such time as we ascertain their numbers and devise an appropriate strategy to guarantee our victory.
He nods, and you see him visibly, I say shrink, but he acknowledges that now that we're on the ground, you are the sergeant, he is the Beck, and he moves to stand by the door, awaiting you to leave the shuttle.
Okay, I'd like to head stealthily in the direction of the Dominion ship, keeping a very close eye out for patrols and watchers, and in particular, I'm going to keep a very careful eye, not just for Jem'Hadar, but for the shimmer of their shroud.
Of course, yes. Good thinking. So, yes, you do so. Obviously, you sort of adopt a standard Klingon, almost like a hunting pattern. Maybe as you've done since a boy hunting targs on Kronos, or I believe was he from Hakak from the homeworld, in fact, or is he from?
No, from an enclave overseeing a conquered world.
I'm sure he would have enjoyed.
Occasionally, there were rebels that needed putting down.
Oh, right, good. So the hunt is something he is used to. So this is just an extended hunt. This is like a boy's holiday with a little bit of extra
extra blood.
Yes. So yes, you move off into the forest in the direction which you've ascertained is the site of the landed vessel, or the vessel emanating its signal.
Yes.
As you said, you're checking. You see nothing in the forest. There are some rustlings in the undergrowth, but your warrior's senses and your keen ears tell you that there's nothing but these are small mammalian creatures that are no immediate threat to you. In fact, you can hear them. They're actually scurrying away. They recognize the real predators in this environment here, and it's you and the Beck that are
okay.
through.
seeing them, that would be quite useful, because I will now also, knowing that there are some primitive life forms here, I'll also keep an ear for them if they are disturbed by anything.
Yes, very good thinking. Indeed, you notice that they're only being disturbed by your own presence and movement. So there is nothing immediately around you as you head into the forested area, and you continue with the beck for approximately half an hour or so, taking very careful note. You're very carefully picking your way through, so you're not leaving any not snapping branches or anything, leaving any obvious trails, avoiding any area where you might leave a trail afterwards, like a mudded or open ground areas. And as you said, you're checking out and keeping a close ear open for any sort of the telltale shimmer of a shrouded Jem'Hadar that might be awaiting. As you continue through the forest, we're going to make a test roll just to see how well you do with this. Specifically, because you said you would, let's see if you can build up some momentum in doing this. So I think what we're going to say is, for your character, I think it would be best if you were to do, I think maybe insight and security, and if we could make it maybe a difficulty 1, I think, for this. It's not particularly challenging for him, but yeah, you are obviously on your guard, and this is a hazardous environment.
Okay. No, I get a total of 13, so I'm not going to buy any extra for that. No. I'll go with as is.
Go with the 2. Yeah.
Oh, I got a 9 and a 16, so 1 success.
A 1 success. Very good. I'm going to, based on that, yes, there are indeed no signs of any Jem'Hadar, and you are approaching so stealthily, you think that if there is anyone around here, you might actually have caught them as the prey, and you are the hunters. So, yes, a good approach to the site of the signal. So, as you get closer to where you believe the signal is coming from, the forest seems to thin out a little, and you find yourself on the edge of the forest with some open ground in front of you, clear ground ahead with some rocky ground further ahead, and laying up against a large, what appears to be a large rocky outcrop, is indeed a beetle-shaped craft of approximately large shuttle size. It's a sort of purpley metallic, and you can see from here there is steam and some whiffs of smoke coming from the rear of it, and what looks like a large gouge in the ground behind it.
Right, so it definitely looks like it's crashed. So I'm going to, myself and the Beck, I'm going to get us to take cover. And from this vantage point, I'm going to scan the area, disruptor in hand, looking for any Jem'Hadar, any Vorta, anyone.
Very good. Okay, so to do so, you'll use your tricorder. I believe you have some sort of Klingons have tricorders, don't they? They have a sensing device, a scanning device.
It doesn't say on this sheet. It only mentions weapons. It doesn't mention equipment.
Well, we'll
Klingons do have a variation on a tricorder, though. Yes.
We'll adjudge that you have one clipped to your belt somewhere, or maybe the Beck does that. You say, give that to me. As he stands up behind something and starts waving it around, it's down. So for that, let us make another roll. This time, let us do. I'm going to let you do control and. Actually, now I'm going to let you use control and science, I think, for this, as you're using a scientific device.
Okay, in which case I am going to spend a momentum.
I was going to say difficulty 1.
Yeah, I'm still going to spend a momentum. Because control and science, not my strong suits. Yeah, so that buys me an extra dice, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, and of course you can buy a further dice by giving me threat should you wish, but momentum is a quick, easy way of getting the extra dice.
No, I'll go with the 3. Right, so I'm looking for 11. Oh, a 16, a 19, and a 12. Oh no!
Oh dear. Okay. Well,
so I can still succeed at cost.
Yes. Well, based on that, you do find that there are certainly what you find is that there are Jem'Hadar life signs very, very close. However, you, having been a veteran of the Dominion War so far, you don't notice that there's any telltale signs of the sort of the residual signature of their shroud being activated. So, from what you can tell, there are Jem'Hadar nearby, but no signs of anyone shrouded, as far as you can tell, from a more a scientific look rather than your simply looking around the scene.
Okay. Did I get an idea of which direction?
Yes, you did. They are all emanating from the area, basically straight ahead of you, the area of the craft. So there's nothing. The sensors aren't showing any Jem'Hadar life signs around to your rear or side or flank. So essentially, you have successfully snuck up on them. That from the readings you've got, no one has managed to. No one is creeping round on you.
Okay. Yeah, keeping the disruptor drawn. Then I'm going to creep as stealthily as possible. For obviously, I'll communicate that to the Beck.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's literally just a few hand signals.
Yeah.
And he would know exactly what it is his sergeant is indicating him to do.
Yeah. And as he pops off to the shops for a new pair of socks.
Completely misread the signals.
Yeah. No, I'll start creeping stealthily towards, keeping as much cover as possible. If it takes longer to creep, I'll take my time over it to ensure I'm both being stealthy and keeping cover.
Very good. Well, as you approach the edge of the clearing, you do catch sight of some Jem'Hadar. Now, they fortunately have not caught sight of you. Sidebar for this, depending on how you did on the previous rolls, depends on whether or not they catch sight of you first. So, well done, Hakanak, on his stealthy and predatory attack approach to the situation. Very good. The hunters have become the hunted. The Jem'Hadar will be horrified to find out in a moment. So from your vantage point, you see that in the rough ground ahead of you, clear of the forest edge, there is a Jem'Hadar crouched down. He seems to be he's essentially your tactical knowledge on Jem'Hadar tactics. He's the advanced guard. He's the picket. He's keeping an eye on the edge of this forest, but he hasn't spotted you yet. Further over towards the actual crash site, you see one Jem'Hadar is near the ship itself. Seems to be focusing his attention on the ship. His back's to you, essentially. You can tell that from this distance. And on the raised ground that it's basically impacted to, there is a Jem'Hadar standing on the top of that. He's rather confidently stood and seems to be equipped with a longer weapon than you would expect, whether or not he's scanning the horizon from there or not, but also he's not spotted you either. So that's the situation as you find it at the time. The Beck looks expectantly at you and places his Dak'Tag away and draws his batleth.
I'm going to shake my head at him and show him the disruptor. And hopefully he'll put his bat'leth away and take his disruptor away
and draws his disruptor pistol and that target and hits out the vicious extra killy blades out the side of it.
Hakak will roll his eyes because he's just made an unnecessary noise. Right. Now, with this clearing, would it be possible to skirt under cover of this forest to get close enough to get a bead on the one on top of the ridge?
I'm going to say yes, you can to that, because I like to say yes to things that are going to be interesting.
Right, because I want to snipe the sniper.
I see. Okay,
that's the intention there.
First, very well, very well.
Yeah, okay. Take him out because he's going to be the most dangerous one, I fear.
All right.
Before it all kicks off.
Let's give you a chance to build up a bit of momentum for this, as you're basically sort of building towards getting into a position to make an attack. From the sound of it, which is and why not, Dominion dogs. So if you could just make me as we'll call this a difficulty 1 again, daring and security, as you're going to be obviously trying to move now along the edge of this forest with obviously the Dominion the Jem'Hadar are scanning the area with visually, but they haven't spotted you yet.
Okay, will my focus in deception count for moving stealthily?
Very, very much so. I would have said that your Jem'Hadar tactics focus would also have been a useful one, because obviously if you know their tactics, you know counter tactics to that. So you know, oh yeah, he's going to be checking over here and there, so we'll go the other way, sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. So daring and security, so that's 16. And if it's a 5 or less, I get 2 successes.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, a 15 and a 9. So that is 2 successes, fortunately.
Fantastic. So a
so
success.
I get a momentum.
And momentum, that's good. So yeah, you do indeed manage to skirt the edge of the forest, and you get yourself into a slightly raised, well, basically a good area. It's slightly raised ground, but there's plenty of slightly denser foliage, and you can manage to sort of wiggle into a position where you get a good clear bead on the observer, the sniper, as we will call him, who stood on top of the rocky outcrop just above the crashed ship.
Right, and I will signal to the Beck to. Do you charge disruptors for vicious?
No. The vicious trait is built in. It's always there, so they don't have the chart. You don't need to take a separate action as we would with a phaser to set what what special rule you're going to apply to its attack. It just has the vicious 1 ability always.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure that the Beck is sighting on the same guy, and I'm going to give him a countdown so we both fire simultaneously.
Oh, good thinking. Yeah, so let's see. You
how to circumvent the keep the action rule.
It does. I will, and in that case, as you have definitely got the drop of them, let you take the first turn. What we're going to do is actually, we're going to roll simultaneously for your 2 characters. I'll roll on behalf of the Bech, Kauf, and you can roll on behalf of yourself. So he is actually, I'd say, he's on my little map I've got planned out here. It's not quite as nice as the ones I normally do, but I might see if I can rustle up some ones for the pictures later on for the Discord. Is long range, therefore making a ranged attack is a control and security difficulty 2. But being as it's at long range, that increases the difficulty to 3.
Right.
Now, if you take, obviously you can take minor actions. So you can aim, which means that you can re-roll a single die. You could drop prone, which obviously increases the difficulty of them targeting you. But I'm going to rule in this case that you are already prone, because you said you've snuck round into a good firing position. So you already have that protection. Or yeah, actually, those are pretty much it. So an aim action on both of your account will allow you to re-roll a die, any of your die each. And that's not counting if you're adding any by buying with momentum or adding to threat.
Well, with a difficulty 3, I've got to buy a momentum. So I will. I've got 1 momentum left, so I will chuck that in.
Righty-ho.
To give me 3 die.
Okay.
And yes, I will obviously aim.
Yes, yeah, you're both aiming. So I'm going to throw 2 dice for the back, and I'm going to re-roll 1 should it fail to hit.
Okay. Will my Jem'Hadar ground tactics count as a focus in this instance?
Let me have a look at your Jem'Hadar ground tactics. I'm going to say no, because that was more useful for you getting into position, not knowing what it is they're going to do. But I think in order to advantage yourself shooting a disruptor pistol, I think you'd need a focus in pistols or in ranged combat.
No, I'm more of a hand-to-hand. I've got hand-to-hand and blades, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm better off up close and personal, however. Don't want to be up close and personal with the others until I've picked off the one who's going to pick us off.
This is the thinking of a warrior.
That's the planning. And it's not fighting with dishonor, Ben. Huh.
There's nothing more honourable than victory.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fighting another day. So, this is control and security. So, 14 for me. A 3, a 4, and a 15. Because I've got aim, I can re-roll my 15.
Yes, it is.
Which I will do. Oh, for a 16. Sorry, I only get 2 successes.
Well, in that case, I've got the back has actually got 1 success. So, as you're both combining, I'm going to say that he's actually assisting you with that. So he's going to give you that extra success. So just as you're about to fire, he basically is also calling the shot. Like he says something like, he's crouching down, and you slightly adjust your aim just as you do to make sure that the shot, whilst the Beck doesn't fire as he tells you, your shot does zoom across and hits the Jem'Hadar sniper as he crouches down to scan better. Bad luck him. So a solid hit, but only from yourself, assisted by your trusty companion. So
excellent.
That's a hit. What damage do you do for that? So it should be.
This is 8. It's 8 dice.
8 dice.
8 dice. So I'm going to roll the dice now.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, I got no Starfleet symbols. Ooh. So that's 3. Oh, it's 5.
5. Oh, it's
terrible.
5. Okay.
3 blanks.
Okay. Now remember that if you do have a momentum left, you can spend a momentum to re-roll any of those dice to get a better.
Which I do not, unfortunately.
No momentum left, alas.
No momentum left. I spent it getting the extra dice for the damage.
Oh, right. Okay. So you said you caused how much damage?
5.
5 damage. Okay. The shot hits him squarely, but ripples around his armor coating and does no further damage to him that you can see. But he looks and spots where the shot has come from.
Of course.
And immediately he's going to spend 2 threat, burning me down to 3, and he quickly taps and shrouds.
Ah, shoot.
I'll just make
right. Okay.
And based on the fact that you two have had your turn, it's now the turn of the opponents.
Yes.
Now, obviously, you can't see this, but from the direction of where he was, suddenly there is the flash of a plasma rifle as he aims and shoots in your direction. However, you're at essentially long range, so that's difficulty 3 as it was for you. But you are, of course, prone, making it a difficulty 4 for him. So, only rolling 2 dice, I'm going to have to burn a threat to gain myself a 3rd dice and see what we can do. Now, he's going to take an aim action himself as a minor, so he can re-roll one of these and see if he can actually pick out where that shot came from out of the forest. And with his control and security of a total of 12, he's managed to get 3 successes, but nothing more than that. He needed 4, so he shoots, and the plasma shot whips viciously into the trees just near to Kauf, who growls. But other than that,
roll eyes again.
That was a miss. Now, as you two have taken your turns, that means it's just time for the remaining on the opposing side to activate. So that was 1. The one who's nearest to you spots again. See, here's one shot go over, sees another shot go back, and leaps up and, as a move, runs towards the forest, heading basically to the side. He hasn't spotted where you are, but he's running to get into cover, basically from one cover area to another, because there were some sort of small rocks that he was sat around. So he's running across there. Now, I do have 2 threat left. I could shroud him for that 2 threat, but then I'd have no threat left at all to do anything cool with. So he's actually just going to be sprinting across there as it is. I'm just going to move him into position. So he's not quite in the forest, but he is running, that you can see. So you have essentially 2 targets. And the Jem'Hadar, who's over near the crash ship itself, who was looking at it, and you could see he was dealing with it, maybe scanning it or looking to try to repair it, or maybe even operating the beacon. He's doing something, certainly. As a minor action, he is going to move essentially 1 zone. He's going to move where the other Jem'Hadar previously had been, again, keeping low and running flat out. And that's all their actions done. So we move round to the next round and over to yourselves.
Okay. This isn't like Pathfinder where, stowing a weapon costs an action or anything, does it?
Now, it does say that as a minor action, it says minor actions like draw item. It says pick up an item within reach or draw a weapon or other item. And you said you've got. You said you had your pistol and dagger in each hand.
Well, with me it was just the disruptor.
Oh, just the disruptor.
It was only the Beck who drew his dagger as well.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is swap out the disruptor for the Batleth.
Mm-hmm. A minor action for that, because a Batleth is a two-handed weapon, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But I don't want to drop the disruptor. I still want to have it available if needs be.
Oh, right. So, I mean, are you taking a Batleth out with one hand, so just using it one? I think you can use it one-handed, but it increases.
What I'd like to do is stow the disruptor as I'm drawing the Batleth.
No, fine. I mean, that would be a minor action. You simply stow that one and draw that all as one action. Basically, you swap out your load, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd like to start running in the direction of the Jem'Hadar. I'd like, still staying within the forest because that's going to provide us with some degree of cover.
Yep.
I'd like to start running in the direction that he was running to.
Excellent. Okay. We will. Basically, I'll move you to a zone that's fairly close to him. Then, so that would be that would actually be an extra minor action. So I'm going to say, and that would cost you momentum normally, but as you have no momentum to do so, I'm going to say that will cost you your combat action instead to do the 2. So you get like a.
Can I give you threat instead?
You could give me threat to do that, not a problem.
I'll do that.
Thusly done. So you've taken an extra minor action, you moved over, and you are basically, you run through the forest, and you basically stumble upon him. You're in the same area as he is.
I'd like to take a bit of a swipe at him with my bat'leth. See if I can decaffeinate him.
Decaffeinate a single swipe. Excellent. So yes, basically you've run through the forest and you basically intercepted him as he's coming in. Obviously, you know this bit that you've crept through this bit already. You know the trees, the lumps, the bumps, the roots. He's creeping forward, looking, and you basically come in almost behind him, and you definitely take the first swing. So it is daring and security, difficulty 1, and I'm going to make it difficulty 2 for him because you've caught him by surprise.
Okay, so that's a 16. I have a focus in blades.
Ah, very good.
So here we go. I get focus doesn't come in, but I get a 13 and a 12, so I get 2 successes. 2
successes, excellent. So you succeed. He's managed to get security 13. He's managed to get a 16 and an 11, only 1. So you got more successes than he did. So you have succeeded. You bank 1 momentum.
Excellent.
And as you've won, because this is basically an opposed roll. If you're shooting, you just need to succeed and you hit. With close combat, you both take a roll, and basically whoever gets the most successes has won and causes then rolls to damage. So you're using your bat'leth.
Just to check, do I get the momentum then? Because I've only got 1 success over.
Yeah, that's fine, because it's the number of successes is whether you win or not, but essentially to attack successfully is 1.
Okay. So the fact I got 2 successes, even if he'd have fended me off, I would still have got momentum.
Yes, exactly. So you can still bank momentum in that to maybe use to let another character in your party take the next turn, pile into the fight as well. So it's designed to help you out.
Okie doke. So with the bat'leth, this is 7 die. Vicious 1. Oh, nice. So that is actually not quite as good. Got 3 blanks. I got 3 Starfleet symbols, so that's 2 each for those, and I got a 2. So that makes a total of 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. Excellent. So his resistance is 2 for his armor. So that takes it down to 6. 6. Very good. So despite his armor, you cleave him, and he takes more than 5 in one go. He is critically injured. You basically hacked most of his arm off, and he falls to the ground. You probably smashed his little bottle of Ketracel White or something, and now he's got no dinner. But he essentially suffers an injury, and he is down in one swipe.
As I hack at him, I say, "That's why they call me Hack-Hack."
Hack. Splendid.
It smells attacks.
So it's over to the Jem'Hadar.
Doesn't the Beck have a go?
Now, it would actually move from one side to the other. Now, you can spend momentum as a party to pass the turn to someone on your own turn. 2 momentum will let someone else on the same side take the next go.
No, you're okay. I've only got 1 momentum.
Okay,
I want to save it for when I need it.
Okay, you could buy it with threat if you fancied.
No, you're okay. You're okay. No, I was just checking because of the first order round, but yeah, of course it is. It does alternate. Yes, I'd forgotten.
No problem. Okay, so well, there seems to be only 2 visible Jem'Hadar left. I say visible, one sort of shimmering on top of the on top of the rock. So I will. The one who's on top of the rock will take another shot at the Beck. Actually, he knows that there's some, even though there's some rustling in the trees and a shout, he's going to carry on shooting at his initial target, try and clear out the forest there. So he's going to take a minor action of aim, and he's going to have a crack at Kauf again with his.
He's expendable.
I mean, I don't like to use the phrase "red shirt" when we're talking about Klingon warriors, but the Klingon High Council will spend the lives of warriors like blood wine. So we're going to burn a threat actually and add in an extra dice. As this was difficulty 4 last time, so it's still a difficulty 4. And what do we get? Not as good. Only 1 success. So again, his shot zooms off into the forest, whizzes close to Kauf, but otherwise misses. Or should I say, a shot comes from an empty bit of space, just appears and zooms through. I'm thinking kind of like Predator. Kauf's looking desperately for any 3 little dots moving around him. I see you. That's him. So it's.
Can I shout something out as a free action, seeing him wildly miss Kauf? I'd like to shout out, "Your mother is more dangerous when she shoots dirty looks." Oh no, you don't have a mother, do you? No, that doesn't work. Never mind.
Your test tube.
Yes, your test tube should. No, that's not. Yes.
You're cloning.
Your Vorta.
You're cloning.
Your Vorta's more dangerous when it shoots dirty looks. Yes, that works. Nailed it.
Excellent. Kauf, noting that you're basically not standing over him at this point, sheathes his pistol, pulls his bat'leth out, and with a vicious roar, runs out, heading towards across the dead ground towards the nearest Jem'Hadar warrior, and is luckily able to connect with him, or he's getting close enough, and bounds into combat in just the sort of way that you'd imagine young, impetuous warriors do, as sergeants shake their heads. Amazing. They just
Why he didn't shoot back, I don't know.
Good job he didn't blow the surprise attack anyway at the start. So I'm going to let you roll for Kauf, and I would roll for the Jem'Hadar. Kauf actually has daring and security is 11.
Okay, he's a minor NPC, so he won't have any focuses.
No, not actually. None of these have any focuses, as they're minor NPCs, and even some of the more major, more significant NPCs don't always have focuses. Certainly, the minor ones don't tend to.
Yeah. So 2 dice, looking for 11. 1 success, got an 8 and a 15.
Okay, the Jem'Hadar got 2 14s, and with control of 9 and security of 3, he's been caught. They've been caught off-handed by Kauf, who wins the combat. Very good. And with his bat'leth, it's his security plus his bat'leth scores.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to add my security number of dice.
Yeah. Basically, the weapon will be a damage rating plus your security. So a heavy blade like a bat'leth or a katarkin or a lurper is 3 dice plus your security. So I believe your character will be 3 + 5, so 8 damage. 8. I say damage dice, but 8.
Well, the bat'leth is 7, so that would actually be 11 damage dice.
Oh, good lord! Okay, very good.
So, bat'leth is 7. What's his security?
Our hang on a moment. See, yes, that's right. He is checking that one. Oh, his security is only 2.
2. So that's 9 damage. That's 9 dice. Okay, let's do this. It's going to be a vicious one again, obviously. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 points of damage against resistance. So it's the same as what I actually did.
Yep, another solid hit. He basically cleaves half the guy's leg off. Down goes the other Jem'Hadar. Now, do I have any nasty rules? No, nothing I can do. Nothing I can do to save him. As he is a minor NPC, obviously I can't use any threat to activate a value or to keep him in the fight. They basically they keel over when you hit them the first time down hard. Good. He does have the rule immune to fear and immune to pain, but that's a bit immune to pain is fine, but it's hard to fight when half your leg's been removed by an angry Klingon with a bat'leth.
Immune to pain, he's not got a neural parasite in him, has he?
Oh, don't you be getting any ideas. I'm not having Jem'Hadar infected with neural parasites being beamed around the galaxy. Imagine,
what if the neural parasites somehow merged with the founders?
Oh. So they could become anything, and they're infected with neural parasites. That would be the second Dominion War would be won only by one side in that case. I'll be heading for some peace and quiet. I'm going to the Mirror Universe. Splendid. So that's that side taken. That's at the end of that round. As he was going to have his turn next, but you've taken him out. So again, an interesting. It's probably a bit easy if you're playing around a table with some friends and you have a map and some figures or standees or even just drawn out. It is a tactic that you could use as a party, that you could see who hadn't activated yet in the round and target them. Obviously, if you take them out, they've lost their turn. So an outnumbered landing party or an outnumbered away team can sometimes even up the odds quite quickly by, if someone's taking out, basically one's had a go, take out someone who hasn't yet had a go, then work on another one who hasn't had a go, rather than shooting at the first person who shot back at you. Essentially, once they've had their shot, that's it for the round, and everyone gets another go later. So mechanically, that helps out the outnumbered few, the brave few, with a band of brothers.
Right.
Better in the original Klingon, obviously.
Okay.
We're back over to yourselves now. By my working out, there is one shrouded Jem'Hadar here, and that's all you can see at the moment.
Okay. Now the rocks that the Jem'Hadar was originally by, you say that provides some amount of cover.
That would definitely supply with some suitable cover. Yes, it's a rocky, broken ground.
Will it reduce the range of distance with the disruptor on the shrouded Jem'Hadar?
Let's say that from his point of view, it will make what should be a difficulty 2 shot into a difficulty 3. Because you will be in around some sort of cover in that area.
But will it go from long range to medium range?
Yes, it would. Yeah, you are closer in. Yeah, if you imagine there's the forest, there's the difficult ground, and then there's the area around the ship.
Okay, I'm going to have to spend threat to do this, but I would like to leg it over to the rocks, and swap out the bat'leth for the disruptor.
Excellent. So you're basically joining the back both behind the rock. He's basically finishing off what's left of the Jem'Hadar that's under him. Yes, very good. Eminently possible. There we go.
So that required and then I would like to, and I have no doubt there's going to be increased difficulty because of the shroud, but I would like to try and shoot the Jem'Hadar on the top.
Excellent. So you're shooting basically the area where you last saw a shot come from, or
yes. I mean, I'm not going to be able to take a minor action evade,
area on the top of sort of man-sized area on the top of the rock where you think he still is.
Yeah, I'm just going to look for the shimmer and try and hit that.
Okay. Actually, for that, I'm going to let you do insight and security roll just to see if you can sort of peer and see, maybe build up a bit of momentum to help out.
Insight and security. Okay. That's 13. Will any of my focuses apply? Jem'Hadar ground tactics or deception?
Well, yeah. You if you know about Jem'Hadar tactics, you know you're particularly good at spotting a shrouded shape. Yeah, I'll let you have the focus in that.
Okay. So that's going to be a 13 I need to hit. Oh, I got a 2 and an 8.
Oof.
So 3 successes.
3 successes.
So I'll have 2 of them momentums.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what difficulty was it? Was it a 1?
I was just seeing how much momentum you build and then decide what I want to do with it. So I'm going to say that you can bank that as momentum, and I'm going to make this it would normally be a difficulty 2. I'm only going to make it a difficulty 3 shot, even though you would have normally closed down the range to make it a standard difficulty 2. He is still shrouded, but yeah, your skills mean that you can basically see the outline shimmer of where he is, even though he's crouched down.
Okay, well, with the difficulty 3, I'm definitely going to spend a momentum to buy an extra dice.
Mm-hmm. Does that put you to 2, I believe?
2 momentum, is it?
No, does that put you to 2 momentum if you spend 1, should I say?
Yes.
Yes, I guess. Just setting my momentum dice to, it doesn't show, my momentum dice so that I know where you're up to.
Yeah.
My threat dice is a D12, just because normally you've got more than that, so that's just my markers.
Oh, I've had way more than 12 in our
game
before now.
Well, I'm always handing it over to you. Yeah, give him some more threats, get some more dice.
It's amazing how quickly that builds up. Okay, so here goes. This is control and security, isn't it?
Yes, to fire a shot. Yes.
Yeah.
Daring and security for close combat.
I need a 14s. I get a Starfleet symbol, a 5 and an 8. So I've actually got, with a security of 5 and the and the Jem'Hadar ground tactics. That's now. Does the Starfleet symbol, if that applies for a focus, is it still on the count as 2 successes?
That's a good point. No, I think it.
Or is that 3?
I think it just counts as 2, and then like anything above that with that. Yeah, I'd have to double check that myself. I don't think it explodes into like a 3, but it would be very cool if it did. Anyone interested?
If I was faced with the same thing, I would say it still only counts as 2. So that's 2. I get 2 for the 5. So that's 4. I get 5 successes.
Oof. So you needed 3 to hit him. So you have hit him, and you've banked 2. Yes.
4 now.
Fantastic. Okay, so roll your disruptor damage on him.
So this is 8 dice plus my security, and I'll remember to add my security this time because I didn't before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, an extra 5. I am rolling 13 dice.
Ouch.
Well, let's see what it does.
My poor innocent buddies.
Okay, it's not as good as you would think. 2 4 blanks. But I get, because it's vicious as well, so that's 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17 points of damage.
Oh, he has, with a resistance of 2, that still means he's in 50. He's only got 14 stress, so you've absolutely wiped him out. Literally, you actually hit his shroud device, and he literally explodes.
Excellent.
There is Ketracel White and bits of Jem'Hadar and claret all over the place. Splendid. And as you do, the Beck stands up and roars in triumph at your superb marksmanship and the death of an enemy. What sagas will be written about such a shot? Congratulations.
As they say in the house, Grilka, who's your daddy?
Wonderful. And with that takes us out of combat. You have successfully defeated the 3 there, and you find yourselves face to face with a simmering, steaming Dominion vessel at the end of a long trench of impact.
Okay. I mean, still, actually, drawing the Batleth, want to approach it in case there are more Jem'Hadar inside, or a Vorta, or because there would normally be a Vorta in command of. In fact, there'd normally be more than 3 Jem'Hadar. So I'm going to look for. I'm going to go inside and look for bodies or remains or still livings.
As you approach the ship, you see that just outside, what the previous incumbent who was looking at the outside of the ship was, it turned out that he'd been tending to a recumbent body lying on the ground with a large box next to it. There's a lot of blood around this particular individual. They seem to be extremely badly injured, and indeed, as you approach, they seem to stir into life a little. It says, Klingons, I thought I could smell you from across the clearing.
I'll decaffeinate him.
You swing down and take the Vorta's head off in a single swipe. Whatever information it knew or was able to impart is now pouring out of its bloodied neck stump.
I'll remind you of my value. Foes who are without honour deserve no mercy.
Excellent. You have indeed played to your value. That's a big tick in the box for me. And yes, inside you also see basically you managed to account for all the bodies that you would expect on a vessel of this size. Some have been killed in the crash itself, and the Vorta had obviously been badly wounded, and then very badly wounded by somebody else with a big knife afterwards.
Okay, now you, with Beck's help, first of all, I want to disconnect the beacon.
Oh, very good. You, it's very easily knowing your Jem'Hadar tactics. You have sufficient knowledge of this to know that the control panel of the main vessel. I don't know. Do these have a control? They do have a control. They don't have a main view screen, do they? They do have control.
No, they wear the headsets.
Just on the headset. So yes, I suspect that with that, do you find that you take? Are you going to pull it to pieces or just blast it to pieces?
The beacon, pull it to pieces.
Pull it to pieces. Okay, you basically open up enough and pull out enough wires that suddenly all the things go dark and the inside of the ship powers down. It looks like whatever was powering it, you've pulled the right wire out. It's powered down.
Okay. Now, looking at this, I don't have a brilliant engineering score, but what would be the possibility of getting this ship up and running again?
I would say that would be like a difficulty 12. This thing is in bits, having landed. It will need a shipyard to get this back together again, to ever fly again.
And on our shuttlecraft, is there a tractor beam?
Good point. Let me double check the stats for that. I think there is a tractor beam. Yes, it does have a rudimentary tractor beam, obviously for towing things of about. It's obviously, I think you need a few of them to be able to tow a D7, and you need a fleet of them to tow a Negvar class. But yes, it has a tractor beam on board.
Right, because I would like to not abandon the vessel. Want to take it with us.
I see. This is interesting. Yes. Very well. So, how are you proposing to do that? The Beck is looking around for trophies, and it's just sort of pulling some of the Ketracel white tubes off some of these bodies, and thinking that those might look quite good on his grandma's hearth when he gets home.
I'll wander over to him and say, I suppose you fought with some honour. Well done. But that's not the sort of trophy we want. I'll show you what sort of trophy we take back. And I'll start stomping back to our shuttlecraft.
So you can't possibly mean the whole ship? Do you mean you've taken out a whole Jem'Hadar crew, and you mean to take their ship as well? This I must assist with. Maybe there will be a part in the song for me. And Calf was there too. Ta-da!
Yeah. Calf turned up. Yeah.
And his friend Calf.
Yeah. No, I'll let him operate the tractor beam to seize the vessel from the grip of the planet.
Splendid. Well, knowing the way back, you proceed back to your shuttle. Again, the only thing you notice in the undergrowth is things scuttling away from you. After all that, the local flora and fauna are definitely impressed enough to keep out of your way. So you get back to the shuttle, and I think we're going to make you test for this, because this is going to take a little bit of flying. This is so. You're going to have to. I would imagine you have to hover over me and try and draw the ship up with the tractor beam.
Okay. What I'd like to is, rather than draw it directly upwards, where I can see the trajectory that it's sort of skidded in, I'd like to pull it angled backwards.
Yep, bring it out the way it came in.
Yeah.
Good thinking. I like that. Very well. So I'm going to say, well, this is not normal shuttle operations. You'd normally have a big ship for doing like ground rescue, ground salvage, but it's kind of similar scale vessels, so that's going to counterbalance that. Let's call this a difficulty 2, and I'd like a control and con test from you, please. And we're going to let the shuttle assist you, just to get your shuttle into the right position to pull it out.
Okay, so control and con. I'm going to buy an extra dice as well.
Oh, good, yeah. Well, you will get some help. Yeah, that's build up the momentum. The ship's going to assist. It's going to be the structure and engineering, which it gets you 1 success with.
Excellent. So control and con. So 13s. Oh, do I have any focuses that might? No. I get a 6 and an 8, also a 15 and a 16. So I get 2 successes. So that's 3 successes total with the ship's help.
Total. So you you get your momentum back for that then. I believe. Very good. So yes, you fly from the location where you landed over to the crash site and swing around, hovering over the impact plow, where it's made a trough and a trench into the rocks, and you bring it into a very, very stable position, perfectly lined up for the tractor beam.
Okay, and as I do so, I'll start singing an ancient Klingon victory song. A Klingon tar is a soaring soul, as free as a mountain.
3 little togs from Kronos, we 3 little togs from Kronos. At that, Kauf and says, "You wish me to lock the tractor beam on, Sergeant?"
Yes.
Well, he's going to do a control and engineering assisted by the ship. And he manages to get 1 success. It pulls, but it's not quite moving. You may have the right idea, but the wrong man for the job.
Can I chuck a momentum at him?
Shall we try? You're going to tell him to do it again and throw him a momentum?
I'll throw him a momentum.
That's it. Stop singing and start tractoring. Let's try him again.
No, it's that button.
And he gets a 5, a 3, a 6, and a 19. So 3 successes. The ship breaks free and pulls in towards and wobbles rather unsteadily, bits dropping off it, mud and dust and soil coming off, and some parts of the ship falling off, but slowly stabilizes, and the tractor beam seems to be locked on in position. It says, "Tractor beam secure, Sergeant."
Yes. You should have sung the appropriate Klingon song for that. You want to break free.
Definitely.
And with that, take us up and away.
Very good. I will, with that, you set course and return, climb up out of the atmosphere, back into space, and set course for the IKS Batleth. The sergeant looks behind and says, "Tractor beam secure, sir. Ready for warp at your command."
Excellent. Engage. With honor.
Kapla!
Kapla!
And Hakak and Kauf warp off towards their next adventure successfully. That was it. Thank you.
Oh, brilliant. So well done. So well done.
Well
that was
done,
lots of fun.
And as you can see from that, they could then very theoretically arrive, if you had, the plan with that is, of course, if you have an established group of players already, that's how you could play with one player to introduce them to the rules of the game, that in a session where they joined a group, they'd have a bit of an idea of how to play it, rather than interrupting the game as it was, or feeling that, oh, I don't know how the game works. Everyone's going to wonder why I don't know. It because of, oh, I know how to do this, I can help you with that, can't I? Or do I use this? Or I know a bit about that card already. And they've had a little adventure getting to join the party.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely brilliant. Lovely, lovely one shot. Thank you so much for doing it.
Well, thank you very much for volunteering to be tested by it.
Well, I'm always happy to be a guinea pig. No, that seemed to work really, really well. And I can see you can also do it, like, if you do have a group of people all wanting to learn at the same time.
Of course, yeah. If you had 2 people who were wanting to join an established group, yeah, you could make them. Essentially, if you play it 2-player, the GM with that one can literally be the additional character to help out. So it means that you get the player in a 2-player game has someone to assist, someone to bounce off, and essentially that's the GM's supporting character, essentially, in this particular game.
Yeah, no, really, really, really good. Fantastic. Well, I hope everyone watching has enjoyed it as well. I know I really have. Yeah, Ben says Queen song in its original language.
Oh, someone out there will have translated most of that into Klingon, and I'd love to hear it.
Mother, I just killed a man and brought honor to our house.
Oh, glory to us and our house.
Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, Thank you so much, and join us in the Discord for more chats. And of course, next week we're back to our usual game.
Yes,
Where did we leave off? We left off at a good point, didn't we?
Oh yes, we were just nose to nose with a Romulan battlecruiser, and we'd just pulled an amazing stunt by manoeuvring so they can't hit us as easily. And Davog had successfully managed to find the weak spot. All we need to do now is hit it with everything we've got.
That's it, where we're mid-combat. What will happen? Will the Livingston survive? Who knows? Oh, find out next week. But yeah, and we'll hopefully we'll do more of these Klingon specials, because this was a lot of fun.
Good, yes. Who knows? We'll have the continuing saga of Hakach.
And son of Groloth.
And Kalf was there too.
Yeah, he can come along.
He can come along.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you ever so much. Take care, everyone, and Kapla.
Kapla.
Bye.